What do you want to do today? Just kidding. Today we're going to cover a whole bunch of really cool, interesting, important aspect of fashion designing. And I'm going to start with a little secret. This is known as graphic tape. It's used primarily in graphic designing. If you were a graphic designer, you would know what this is. And I'm going to use it to create style lines. This tape comes in different widths. This is 1/8 of an inch. Now, of course, one side has a little bit of glue to it, so it sticks to your wherever, your finger and your form. And the beauty is that you can use it to create style lines. So let's say you wanted to do a square neckline, right? So you can go like this and like that. To see whether that's something that you're happy with, that you like. And if you don't like it, again, you just peel it off and try a different neckline. You can also use this to create style lines. Let's say you want to create some seams, so really, style lines for princess seams and so on. You can find it at your local art store. If you're wondering why I work on half of the form, is because most of the time, the left side and the right side are the same. That's known as a symmetrical design. So if I work on half of the form, do you remember this guy right here, this yoke that we did way back when? We eliminated the shoulder seam. So if I'm putting this on the fold, the pattern will look like this. When I open my pattern, I've cut my center back on the fold, so my pattern is one piece, and now there's my yoke all in one piece with center back on the fold. We've been working with necklines which are very close to the neckline of the form, but you can shape your neckline any way that you like. You can go ahead and use that tape that I was just showing you and place it on your pattern, and you can shape your neckline any way that you choose. Do you remember in the first class we talked about grain lines and using stripes? So here is a yoke on the fold, one piece, no shoulder seam, and following the stripes in the front, it turns out to look like that, which is kind of cool. Some fabric will allow you to cut the pattern piece on the length grain or the cross grain, meaning that in this case, the yoke is cut length grain and the rest of the body is cut cross grain. Not all fabric will allow you to do that. These are all factors that make up the elements of design. Elements of design, what's that? Well, what makes a great design? There are certain elements which are essential and are used in creating a great design. For example, the first is what's known as silhouette. Silhouette is the shape of the garment. If you're looking at the garment on a hanger, what is the shape of that design? Okay. The next is color. When you walk into a store, the first thing that attracts you is really the color. Is it very bright? Is it light, dark, pastel? Color is very important. So that's another element of design. The next would be texture. The texture of the fabric. Is it smooth? Is it silky? Is it rough? Does it have a nap, like corduroy, for example? Another would be the weight of the fabric. Is it a lightweight chiffon, or is it a heavy weight, more of a velvet weight, a wool fabric, for example? That would be another element of design. And another would be balance or proportion. Proportion would be the relationship between one area of your design and the rest of the body, or one to another area. For example, is this a good proportion? Is this yoke, the relationship between this yoke and the rest of the dress? So those are elements of design. That's what a good designer uses, consciously or unconsciously, to create great designs. Okay, are we having fun yet? See you next class.